Today is Sunday, October 20, 2019. My name is Lights Camera Jackson. Welcome to an all-new episode of LCJ Live. I give you the latest box office breaking news, updates, analysis, info, and more. Plus, we'll talk about some of the big movies opening up this weekend in theaters and more. So let's get right to it. Maleficent, Mistress of Evil, $36 million. That is just half of what the first Maleficent movie made in 2014. That is crazy. But that's what happened, because it's a movie that's like half as good as the first Maleficent. So there you go. Again, $36 million. It is your number one movie in America, but Disney cannot be thrilled out of their minds, because this is not a huge open. I think it's their lowest open of the year for any movie, lower than Dumbo, which came out in March, opened to $45 million. So again, Maleficent, Mistress of Evil, your number one movie, $36 million. In second place this weekend is Joker, $29.2 million, a strong third weekend for Joker, which is closing in on that $250 million mark. And in third, Zombieland, double tap with $26.7 million. Now that is just above what the first Zombieland movie did 10 years ago, back in 2009. It opened to somewhere around $24-25 million. So adjusted for inflation, pretty much everybody who saw the first Zombieland, its opening weekend, saw it 10 years ago, saw it this weekend, so that's good. What's up? Drasmus1, thanks for being here on LCJ Live. Again, your top three movies, Maleficent, Joker, and Zombieland. In fourth, a very strong second weekend for Addams Family, another $16.1 million. I believe it has passed Abominable, or they're very close to each other, which has got to make the folks at DreamWorks a little upset. That Addams Family, which is also about half as good as Abominable is making more money than Abominable, a film that I know the writer-director Jill Colton, who I talked with for Abominable, has spent years and years. It was a passion project of hers. It's a sweet film. It's not amazing, but it's a sweet movie. And yet this Addams Family reboot, that's not great in quality, is making more money. The folks at DreamWorks got to be shaking their heads a little bit. But there are people online already talking about the best animated feature race this award season. And maybe Abominable sneaks in. Maybe it happens. What's up, Shellfish Beach? Thanks for being here on LCJ Live. Maybe Abominable sneaks into that best animated feature category. We could have Toy Story 4, Frozen 2. There's your Disney movies. Could have How to Train Your Dragon, Hidden World, and Abominable, your two DreamWorks movies. Give the folks at DreamWorks some love for The Final Dragon, which the first Dragon didn't win, and neither did the second, the Academy Award. And then Abominable, because Jill Colton is the first woman to be the writer and the main director of a major original animated film. Maybe that gives her a nomination. And then what's that fifth movie gonna be? Maybe it's I Lost My Body, which is a hand-drawn French animated film, new English dubbing, that Netflix acquired at Cannes a few months ago. And I talked the other night with Jeremy Clappin, the co-writer and director of I Lost My Body. This movie's in theaters November 15, on Netflix on the 29th. It is one of the best animated films of the year. It is thought-provoking, it is powerful, it is mature, and maybe that gets in as the fifth nominee this year for the best animated feature category. We will have to see. Shellfish Beach wants to know if Shellfish Beach should see Jexy. I haven't seen Jexy, but from what I've heard, it is not very good, and it is bombing at the box office. It was in the top 10 last weekend with $3 million. Made about $1 million and change this weekend out of the top 10, so I say don't see Jexy. Gemini Man fell to fifth, and it fell hard. It made $20.5 million last weekend, down to $8.5 million this weekend. Ouch. I don't think it's a terrible movie. A lot of people have been hating on Gemini Man. I don't think it's a bad film. It's okay. It's not extraordinary, but Will Smith does his best. The CGI work on the other Will Smith character, aside from the final scene, which may have been a last-minute throw-in. So I'll give him a pass. Besides that, the CGI work on that other Will Smith is incredible. Deserves best visual effects consideration and may get a nomination simply because of that. Have you seen Parasite? Says, goodbye, Mr. Burton. I am seeing it tomorrow night. I am seeing Parasite tomorrow night. I know hardly anything about this movie. I am very much looking forward to it. The FilmColumbia Festival has been going strong the last couple days, and it continues with more movies this week, including Parasite, a film called Waves. They've got Clemency with Alfre Woodard, which you need to see. They've got Marriage Story. They've got some other big movies on the way. The Terrence Malick movie, A Hidden Life. is there, and a couple others. So I am looking forward to seeing Parasite tomorrow night. It had a huge expansion this weekend. It made more than $1 million in 33 theaters, a huge per-screen average. So the folks at Neon are thrilled. This is the little indie that could, the buzzworthy one, the one everybody's been raving about is Parasite. I will finally be seeing it tomorrow night. So hopefully it lives up to all those expectations. I do hate Marriage Story. Goodbye, Mr. Burton is correct. I saw this a couple weeks ago at the Woodstock Film Festival. The folks there are great. I saw Honey Boy there with Shia LaBeouf, which was a great movie, a good movie, decent performances. I saw Clemency there, great movie. And I saw Marriage Story. It tries to be really funny, and it doesn't work at all. Noah Baumbach has made some good films. Mayorowitz Stories, While We're Young, I think is highly underrated. He's contributed to Fantastic Mr. Fox, Madagascar 3, bunch of other films. This is not good. I am sorry. The performances are way over the top. The situations are over the top. The kid dialogue is terrible. Hardly anybody can ever get kid dialogue right in movies. Yeah, I do not recommend Marriage Story. Laura Dern, wow. What a wackadoo over-the-top performance. It's a film that's begging for you to love it. And I don't like those kind of movies. And so it's not a fun experience to go see. So, yes, I do not recommend Marriage Story. But like I said, FilmColumbia's got Clemency, which is terrific. Hidden Life, Waves, Parasite. And their Saturday Night Sneak, which is already sold out. But we will see what it is and at FilmColumbia. So if you want the full blog piece on FilmColumbia, go to the website lights-camera-jackson.com. Other movies in the box office this weekend: Abominable. Downton Abbey is now officially the highest grossing Focus Features movie ever. It passed Brokeback Mountain, which held that title for 14 years. Wow. Hustlers, over $100 million now. One of only a few STX movies to do that. Congrats to my friend Lorraine Scafaria on that. And then It Chapter 2 is in your top 10 as well this weekend. I'm missing something. I know I am. Oh, Judy. Yeah, that's right. The Judy Garland movie also hanging on there in the top 10. Couple movies opened up in limited release this weekend. One of them is Jojo Rabbit, which is Taika Waititi's new movie, and that had a huge open in just 5 theaters. And also The Lighthouse with Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe, new black and white movie from A24, opened in 8 theaters with a big open. So strong limited release starts for those movies. I'm going to be seeing The Lighthouse this week, along with Parasite, a couple other films from FilmColumbia over the next week. Also going to be seeing one of the new movies opening up this week, which is The Current War. This movie has such a story behind it. The Current War was made 3 years ago, probably, shot 3 years ago. 2 years ago, it premiered, I believe at Toronto. And it was a Weinstein Company movie at the time. FilmColumbia was going to show it as the Monday night film of their week-long festival. With about 6 days to go, they get a notification from the folks at the Weinstein Company, we got to pull this movie because the Harvey Weinstein scandal had just broke. And they were starting, the whole meltdown was just about to begin. So they had to pull the movie and replace it at the festival with I, Tonya, which ended up being a really good decision. One of my favorite movies of that year. So now, 2 years later, the director of this movie has gone back into the editing room and he's basically said, I don't want any Harvey Weinstein influence in this movie anymore. I want it to be mine. And so that's why this film is technically being called The Current War Director's Cut. And I'm really interested in seeing this. It's Benedict Cumberbatch, it's Thomas Edison, Michael Shannon, Tom Holland. There's a few other big names. The Current War, I am looking forward to seeing it this week. Bob Hall says he hopes I like Parasite because I loved it. Good, Bob Hall. Thanks very much. I'll be seeing it tomorrow night, so we'll see what happens. So yes, The Current War. I'm looking forward to that this week. That's also going to be at FilmColumbia, but it opens in some theaters this weekend before it screens at FilmColumbia. So yeah, we will see. So Current War, Lighthouse. You know what else opens up this week, which I may be seeing this week or at a later time, is Western Stars. It's the new Bruce Springsteen concert music documentary. Fathom Events screened it in some theaters last night. They're screening it again on Wednesday. and then the film opens in theaters nationwide officially this Friday. Bruce got some nominations from the Critics' Choice Documentary Awards the other day, including Outstanding Narration. We will see if this guy attends the Critics' Choice Documentary Awards on Sunday, November 10th in Brooklyn. We will see what happens. But yeah, Western Stars opens up this week, along with Black and Blue, which is a new cop drama with Naomi Harris, and a new horror film from STX called Countdown. So those open up all this week in theaters. So check for my social media. I'll be posting some stuff from FilmColumbia and from some of the other movies that I see. Check out my social media, Twitter at LCJ Reviews and Instagram at LightsCamJackson for updates and reviews of movies opening up over this week. I want to thank the folks at the Malta Drive-In very much. Last night, I was the official judge, celebrity judge. I was the official judge for their second annual Trunk or Treat night, judging the costumes as well as the car trunks. This is a tradition that's been going on in a lot of drive-in theaters around the country for years. The Malta Drive-In just started this last year, and it went really well, so they decided to do it again, and I think it was even bigger and better. Hundreds of cars there, hundreds of families to see Addams Family and Maleficent double feature. And what everybody did is they had the kids dress up, a lot of the adults dressed up as well, and you decorate the trunk of your car to be whatever you'd like. And there were some really cool and neat costumes and neat trunks. There were trunks devoted to the Day of the Dead. And not just the theme of the Day of the Dead, but actual pictures of those in the family that these people had lost. A Charlotte's Web display, a unicorn display. There were balloons, streamers, all kinds of Halloween Harry Potter themed. There were lots of things going on. The trunks were fantastic. And some of the costumes were really great too. There was a little guy, there was some superhero little boys and girls running around. There was a Mary Poppins that was very good. There was a Starbucks coffee cup. This guy, the Scarecrow. I posted this picture last night. This guy was the Scarecrow. He was the scariest costume of the night. And the most original one I gave to a little girl who was like a hula dancer, and she was inside a snow globe. And it was really well done and really nice. So congrats to everybody who won last night. And a lot of other people all around. I gave them free popcorns and free funnel cakes. Congrats to the folks at the Malta Drive-In, which has been around for 70 years now here in upstate New York in Malta. 2 screens. They've had the second screen for about a decade. And congrats to them on another successful night. Again, hundreds of cars, not just on the one side to see Addams Family and Maleficent and everybody dress up and all the families, and the snack bar was packed. But on the other side, so many people kept coming in to see Zombieland and Joker. I mean, you got your top 4 movies in America, which combined this weekend made $108 million. And they're all Halloween themed. Addams Family, Maleficent, Zombieland, Joker. They've all got that Halloween theme. This is quite a year for Halloween themed movies, and the Malta had all 4 last night, and hundreds of cars there. They made so much money at the Malta. Congrats to everybody. I had a blast being the judge. And hope to come back again next year and do it again. It was a really nice time. If you live in the capital region, the Malta's going to be open one more weekend next weekend, and then they're closing for the year because it is getting cold out there. It is really getting cold. I think the low last night was 34. So we're getting close to that freezing point almost already, and it's not even November yet. So, yeah, there we are. But thanks to everybody at the Malta Drive-In very much for that. Hey, if you want to listen to my interview with Emmy winner Wayne Brady, that's up at the website, lights-camera-jackson.com. In the podcast section, he performed last night at Rivers Casino and Resort in Schenectady. We talk Let's Make a Deal. We talk Whose Line. We talk his animated voice work on shows like Loud House and Sophia the First. If you're interested in some fun facts, tidbits, things about his career, and he met Al Pacino, and he talks Irishman a little bit. Wayne Brady interview is on the website right now. New animation scoop pieces coming at you this week about the Disney TV animation creators. And I talked with the director of The Swan Princess, which is this animated movie that was made 25 years ago. And this guy, Richard Rich, has been with this series ever since. They did a couple sequels, took a little break, did some other projects, and now they're into like 10 movies in this Swan Princess franchise. And the Swan Princess itself is going to be restored on Blu-ray and 4K digital on October the 29th. So that's why we did this interview. So if you're an animation person and you're really interested in all that, you got to read this interview I did with Rick, because he just told some very interesting stories. So that's coming at you this week. For more at animationscoop.com, and I'll be putting it out, of course, all over social media. So next Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern, I will be at a screening of a movie, so we will not be doing LCJ Live at that time. I will let you know if and when I decide to do LCJ Live this week, what will happen. We will certainly be back here the following Sunday, which is, November the 3rd at 12 p.m. Eastern. We'll talk about how Terminator, because that's out in 2 weeks. We'll talk about how Terminator did at the box office. We'll talk about all the other movies that are opening up that weekend. Harriet, Motherless Brooklyn, Arctic Dogs, and they're even doing Fandango early screenings of Dr. Sleep. Oh, that's the other thing. I watched The Shining for the first time the other night. Wow, what a movie. The fact that Jack Nicholson has been nominated, he's the most nominated male actor in Academy Awards history, I believe, with 12 nominations, 3 wins. The fact that one of them was not for The Shining, that is unbelievable. But I guess back then in 1980, people didn't take horror films quite as seriously as they do today as far as looking at performances and getting things out of people. But that is an unbelievable performance in a really wacky, messed up movie that has a lot to say and has some iconic moments and iconic scenes. I really liked The Shining. I really did. And I'll be interested to see what happens with Dr. Sleep when I see that in about a week and a half. How will the comparisons be? What are the similarities, the differences? Because Ewan McGregor is playing the older version of the little boy from The Shining. Little Danny is all grown up and he's going back, I guess, for more. Why? Who knows? But we'll see with Dr. Sleep. So yeah, really like The Shining. Can't believe it got Razzie nominations. It actually got Razzie nominations and no Academy Award nominations. Crazy. But anyway, so we'll certainly talk about all of that 2 Sundays from now. But again, I'll let you know during the week if we're going to be doing an LCJ Live in between then. If for some reason we don't, have a great Halloween. And I'll be keeping you posted on all the film festival stuff and all the screenings all over my social media. I'm Lights Camera Jackson. Thanks to everybody out there for watching this week's new episode of LCJ Live. You can find more of these episodes on YouTube, youtube.com/LightsCameraJackson, and the LCJ Reviews page on Periscope. I'm Lights Camera Jackson. See you next time on LCJ Live. Bye-bye, everybody.